Hey guys, how are things? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another review. Today we'll be checking out a new release from a brand called Swiss Watch Company, and the watch is called the Hyper G, which is a pretty interesting name considering the style of the watch, because after seeing it you might think that we're talking about a different watch altogether. That being said, I actually think that the name does the specs justice because they're actually pretty hyper. No, I actually think I've said hyper way too many times in the last minute. All joking aside, the super cool thing about the company is that they are family owned and family run. And what I think that says is that they actually have a passion for horology, since they're all involved in the entire watchmaking process. If you take a look at their watches, I'll put a link down below into the description if you want to check it out. They all look like they're fit for purpose, and honestly the finishing is on par with watches costing a whole lot more. This will make a lot more sense in a while. The Hyper G is actually meant to be a pilot's watch, and it's probably the sensible alternative to IWC, which, let's face it, it's a bit of a stretch for all of us. Now, how good is this watch? Let's take a closer look at this. Honestly, I think that this has a bit of a sleeper vibe to it, because you really have no idea what's under the hood, or better yet, the material of said hood. Let's go through the specs. The case diameter is 40.5 millimeters. We have a lug width of 22 millimeters, a lug to lug of 47.8, so just under 48, a thickness of just 10.8 millimeters with a flat sapphire crystal, and now the fun part, a weight on one of the supplied straps, leather in this case, is 59 grams. I say this is the fun part because the case is made out of grade 5 titanium. You wouldn't think it, judging by the level of polishing that looks more like stainless steel. We'll get into that next. The overall dimensions are actually perfect for mid-size wrists, but the low weight might actually not be for everyone, since some people like to actually feel the watch on the wrist, and 59 grams is little to nothing. Personally, I love it because I sleep with my watches on my wrists, and that actually suits me. I think this can be sorted with the addition of a titanium bracelet, which would balance it out. Again, from what I could gather, the bracelet is actually in the works. The case. Now, to me, knowing how well this is finished for a grade 5 titanium case, it feels like it is the main attraction of the piece. Not to mention the hardened coating that's applied just to make it a bit more scratch resistant, since titanium scratches easier than stainless steel. I mean, what more could you actually want? We have a combination of brushed and polished finishes, brushed on the sides with some polished chamfered edges for some separation, and for that touch of class, you also have a fully polished bezel. At the 3, we have the screw down crown with the Swiss Watch Company logo engraved. Between this and the screw down case back, we have a stated water resistance of 100 meters, which automatically puts this in the everyday watch category. Something worth mentioning is the crown action. When screwing it back in, it takes a bit of persuasion, which actually more like a bear in mind sort of comment, because this is my 3rd titanium watch that I have in my collection, and they all have the same matter. I've been wearing this in rotation with other watches, and it hasn't bothered me at all when setting the time. That beautiful dial is covered by a flat piece of sapphire crystal with 16 layers of AR coating, which offer great legibility from all angles when the light hits it. The variant that we have here is the blue. There are a few to choose from, so you're not short of options. Personally, I like it because it has this sunburst effect, and it switches shades depending on the light conditions, and it goes from dark blue to a more vibrant tone, and that just makes a relatively straightforward dial a bit livelier. Everything is printed with Arabic numerals for the hour markers and a train track and minute track on the outer edge. This is still a pilot's watch, but it just doesn't have the arrow with the 2 dots at the 12. Honestly, this is a very clean dial, and the addition of the train track, minute track also distinguishes it from it being just another IWC inspired watch. There is no clutter or any writing that doesn't belong there, and there is plenty of real estate to offer that visual balance. Visibility in low light conditions is also covered with 22 layers of X1 grade Swiss-made Superluminova, which is just insane. One of the biggest issues with watches with printed markers versus applied is that normally you would fill the applied markers with lume, but in this case you only have what is printed, so you can't put as much lume as you want. To better simplify it, you have layers versus a recipient that you fill with lume. So it doesn't last as much or doesn't shine as bright. But in this case, you really don't have that issue with 22 layers. Beating inside, you have the Swiss-made automatic Sellita SW200 with 28,800 beats per hour, which is expected and welcome at the price point. And to be quite honest, for a brand called the Swiss Watch Company, I wasn't expecting anything else. Now, all joking aside, this fits in the price point perfectly, taking consideration the other specs. And also, I should have mentioned this when I was talking about the case, but this watch also has a soft iron core for increased magnetic protection. Now, that is something that I never realized I needed, and it's not a deciding factor necessarily, but it's one of those things that makes you feel better for having. And also, this is probably the only automatic watch under $600 that has this. If there are any that I don't know about, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I should also add that this is regulated by SWC before leaving the company, so when this is delivered, you get this card with the values in different positions, which again, another add-on on a very rarely seen feature at the price point. This particular one runs at -1 seconds per day, so I don't really need to say much more because the entire process of regulating the watches actually works. And finally, we get to the strap. So to my understanding, the standard strap that it comes on is leather, and for the price, it's exactly what you expect. Obviously, soft out of the box, and it doesn't need any breaking in. The stitching is very good, and the titanium hardware has the same high quality matching finish. Overall is what you would expect at the price, like I was saying, but it wouldn't impress. It's 22 millimeters, so if you don't like it, you can swap it. They sent another strap that you can buy separately as an option, more like a sailcloth if you feel adventurous kind of level, and the same level of quality, and it changes the style a tiny bit and it makes it a bit more outdoorsy. As a final conclusion here, guys, the Hyper G is the go anywhere, do anything pilot's watch that is not a pilot's watch. It's a great alternative for a titanium watch with, if I may say, super or hyper specs. And I haven't said this in a very long time about any watch, but this can be a great one watch collection, especially if they make that titanium bracelet for it. If you're anywhere in the world where you don't have to pay lots of taxes, $565 might sound like a lot, but trust me, for what you're getting isn't at all. So that was it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very, very much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the content. Also, subscribe to my channel and like the video, obviously. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.